Week's main news. Verdict issued against Einullah Fethullayev. 1 year passes since bloggers' arrest. Clinton supports Azerbaijan government. Action held in front of presidential administration to demand for release of imprisoned blogger. Election complaints should be responded thoroughly. Government is slow to offer effective assistance to people in flooded areas.
On the 6th of July, in the Garadak District Court, Judge Ismail Khalilov announced the verdict of the criminal case against the editor-in-chief of Gündelik Azerbaijan and Realny Azerbaijan newspapers Einullah Fethullayev. The journalist was found guilty under Article 234.1 of the Criminal Code, illegal purchase or storage without the purpose of selling of narcotics or psychotropic substances in an amount exceeding the necessary limit for personal consumption, and was sentenced to 2 years and 6 months in prison. On the 29th of December, 223 grams of heroin was found on Fethullayev in prison number 12. A criminal case was opened against Fethullayev in the Garadak District Investigative Department under Article 234.1 of the Criminal Code. Einullah Fethullayev and his lawyer believe that this incident was set up in order for the court to not comply with the decision of the European Court of Human Rights regarding the journalist. Einullah Fethullayev was imprisoned for 2 years 5 months on 20 April 2007 under the decision adopted by the Yasaman District Court due to the conviction of libel regarding the Khojaly tragedy. After Fethullahev's arrest, 3 criminal cases were opened against him under Articles 214.1, threatening terror, 283.2.2, incitement of ethnic, national, social or religious hatred, abusing authority of the Criminal Code, and he was sentenced to a pre-trial detention. Einullah Fethullayev was sentenced to 8 years, 5 months of imprisonment in total on the 13th of October 2007 under the decision of the Grave Crimes Court and was fined 242,522 manats. On the 22nd of April, the European Court of Human Rights issued a decision regarding the case of Einullah Fethullayev. The decision states that the journalist should be released immediately and the Azerbaijani government should pay 27,822 euros to Fethullayev in compensation. The Azerbaijani government stated that they did not agree with the decision and filed an appeal at the Grand Chamber of the European Court of Human Rights.
Emin Milli and Adnan Hajizadeh will never appeal for a pardon. This was said by Azerbaijan Popular Front Party Youth Organization Chairman Abulfaz Gurbanli during a meeting that was held in the Azerbaijan Human Rights House on July 8th to honor the 1-year anniversary of the blogger's imprisonment. The administration sees this country as its own property, said Gurbanli. Representatives of the Azerbaijani youth, Emin Milli and Adnan Hajizadeh, are fighting against this. Azadlık newspaper editor-in-chief Ganimat Zahid said in his speech that the situation in the country remains complicated. We need to improve the social base of youth, to react operatively to repression, strengthen relations with international organizations, and enhance social networks, said Zahid. Institute for Reporters' Freedom and Safety chairman Emin Husseinov stated that the socio-political situation in the country remains tense, and the way out of this situation is for opposition leaders to be courageous. Committee to Defend Bloggers' Rights chairperson Vala Jafarova called on the youth to fight for the defense of their rights. Youth should not lose hope. This is a dream of bloggers as well, she added. Center for Election Monitoring and Democracy Education's executive director, Bashir Suleymanlı, proposed that the youth join together in one network. At the end of the event, a statement prepared by the Azerbaijani Popular Front Party Youth Organization was adopted. It is written in the document that the administration continues to ignore calls to release the bloggers. The authors of the statement demanded that the unfair verdict against the bloggers be annulled and perpetrators be brought to justice.
Democracy traditions exist in Azerbaijan for more than 230 years. However, Azerbaijan is a young state, yet great improvements have been made in the field of democracy. Good conditions have been created for the development of business in the country. Country's economy has got positive indicators for the improvement. This was said by USA Secretary of State Hillary Clinton in the briefing she held together with Azerbaijan Minister of Foreign Affairs Emel Medyarov on 4th July. In response to questions regarding if issues on human rights and bloggers were discussed, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton responded as of course it was discussed. She did not answer concretely the questions regarding the situation in the field of human rights and democracy. All problems are important for us and we always support human rights, freedom of media and civil society. We have talked about this with the government in the Baku. I spoke to the youth who will study in USA about these issues, said Clinton. Clinton also stated that Washington followed the situation. The guarantee of human rights and democratic norms is important in the year of parliamentary elections. The general view of Clinton and Ahmadiyyarov's speeches is that both officials avoided controversial topics and instead focused more on positive discussion. Both officials demonstrated a wish to not jump into unpleasant and controversial topics to the history of mutual criticism of each country's policy.
On 8th July, a group of Dalga Youth Movement organization activists conducted a protest action in front of the presidential administration to demand for the release of imprisoned bloggers Emin Milli and Adnan Hajizadeh. The youth gathered in front of the Philharmonic Society. They chanted slogans as they approached the presidential administration. The action participants shouted out, "Freedom for Adnan and Emin," annul the unfounded court verdict and end persecutions against youth. The police detained the youth in front of the presidential administration and forced them into cars to take them away from the scene. The police hindered the work of journalists who were trying to prepare a report on the action. On the 7th of July, in the Hyatt Regency Hotel, the Central Election Commission and the Council of Europe Venice Commission held a training called Considering Complaints and Appeals. Venice Commission experts and representatives of the Central Election Commission and District Election Commissions participated in the forum. The seminar participants noted the importance of educational trainings among the subjects that will file complaints and among those who will investigate complaints. Discussions were conducted on the methods and strategies of how to address complaints and appeals. This instruction on the consideration of complaints and appeals in Azerbaijan, said Central Election Commission Secretary Natik Mammadov. The Central Election Commission and District Election Commissions have expert groups to study the complaints. The Council of Europe believes that the parliamentary elections that will be held this year is a way to demonstrate democracy, said the Council of Europe General Secretary's Special Representative in Azerbaijan, Veronika Kotek. The complaints should be considered on time and effectively for free and fair elections. There should be independent and effective mechanisms to consider the complaints. Veronika Kotek considers that besides concrete facts in the appeals, the reasons for the complaints should also be investigated. The European Court of Human Rights has a decision on a complaint regarding the parliamentary elections in 2005 in Azerbaijan. The responses should be answered freely and in a timely manner. On the 6th of July, Kyrgyz civil society organization members held a press conference regarding the results of the monitoring they conducted in the Sabirabad region because of the damage sustained as a result of flooding in May of this year. According to organization's member Oktay Gulaliyev, on Saturday of last week, a group consisting of journalists, ecologists, and human rights defenders visited several villages and temporary housing for people who lost their homes and held meetings with local activists and government representatives. According to the results of meetings and visual observations, however, the government has not taken necessary steps to repair flood damage, although 2 months have passed since the flooding. People are provided with inadequate food and medical service, and damage to buildings, infrastructures, and agriculture has not yet been calculated. Furthermore, steps have not been taken to restore houses and normal life in villages where the water has receded. According to official information, the flood damaged 110,000 acres and 30,000 houses, a good number of those houses being completely destroyed or damaged beyond repair. NGOs pointed out that the reason for this damage is the mismanagement of water economics and misuse of the 1 billion manats allocated for irrigation. The organization's plans for the near future were explained in the event. They have proposed to create 4 working groups: ecologic, economic, human rights, and medical, to engage civil society in the process of repairing flood damage. The activity of the groups will consist of monitoring the situation, assessing the damage to the economy, deterring the ecologic impact, monitoring the means of spending of the allocated amount for irrigation, and the defense of rights of injured citizens in the flood. In the near future, the organization aims to hold meetings and discussions to further the repair of these regions.